this IEX. So the first thing I want to show is this PID. I hope my code is visible and readable.
Yeah.
Okay, this is PID. Now what I want to show here is process.alive PID. It is true because this receive block is waiting for a message. But once I do a send PID, any message, so let's say hello Moto. I sent a message, it's consumed the message, and it is done. So if I check again, process.alive, it is false. So the next thing I want to show here is even if I do similarly for a task, and this is PID alive true send, it was just random message, and if I do again this process.alive false because the message was done and it is done. To show some more thing here, let's do this again. But let us create a model. My model. So I created a model. If I do p equal to model dot start, and I want to check same thing again. Send this p great morning because I just did a pattern matching here. Great. So here, if I do this again, and then this is false. Now, previously we have seen that this p.alive is false after processing the message. Now we will see something new thing when I create a model once again.
Can you make the font size a little bit bigger?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, this model, this same loop function. The additional thing I am doing is here I am adding the loop here. In this receive block, I added the loop here again. Now same thing, remaining things, div start and similar same model. Just added this is additional. So when I do model of start, and when I do now it is to alive. When I send a message, this greet, good morning, it greeted, and again if I do check, is the process alive? Yes, it is alive. Why? Because this loop in the receive, this is what I want to highlight this. Now, so far this much. Now, one more thing I want to show. Now let's create a different function, diff call, diff call. Previously we had greet. No, previously also we had call, but we were doing a greet one. Now this is something different. In the loop, this is what I am trying to do different this time. I am doing a receive log, and here I am sending the output back to the caller where I have server ID, server PID, and the response and the message. So I have the module again ready. So now this time when I do server.start and then when I send call here, so it came here and all. Finally, something is breaking. That's why I get a message string.char is not implemented for response. And yeah, so this much I will share another window 1 minute. So this is the thing what I want to show here. This medium block and so this is a complete few of the blocks. So we saw this call here. There is a call send and receive block. Similarly for cast, cast we just send. We do not have a receive block. And the loop one, in the previous loop, I just added a greet, this greet one. After that, we need to add call, cast, stop one. So for call, we send back another send block. We use a send block to send a message back. For cast, we do not do anything. And for every gen server, we have in Genserver internally it is actually receive end block and it is loop every time. So every time a process is uh, completed, a message is what we call it. Once this is done, we loop it again. That way, the Genserver stays alive even after completing the task. Loop, loop, and for a stop, we have exit. And okay, this much I have for today's thing as of now. So if anyone has anything to add here, next.
I think that is a good first start. So, in the similar way, we can probably think about doing stuff like supervisor trees and pools. We already talked about pools before. So, something
Yeah,
like supervisor trees without using building a supervisor tree from scratch and seeing how it works. That would be an interesting exercise.
yeah. All I can do so Arpit, yeah.
Um,
If you have anything,
Go ahead,
you
Arpit.
can show.
Okay. So again, it will take. I mean, the goal is to just show something in 2-3 minutes. So let me just share my screen
Cool.
and Okay, go to task, IX. Okay, so
You need to
this time,
increase font size a lot.
okay,
You need
now,
Perfect.
okay. So, so today instead of Elixir, let's see something from Erlang. I have
I
used it.
know where you have got this from. I know it, Arpit man. I know it.
Yeah, I mean this is from that Stack Overflow answer or that
Okay.
Elixir patterns book or
Elixir
the
patterns
other
book.
the other book. Yeah, I mean it's documented everywhere, and
Yeah.
uh, and I've used it only once, which is like by copy pasting, someone's code in some solving some, DSA kind of problem. But yeah, so basically there is a queue module here in Erlang,
Good.
and yeah, and then there are like several kind of implementation of it. I think this one is Okazaki, but there is a Q module. I mean, there is a hex package called Q, written by the same guy who wrote this. Uh, I think text specs. One second. Hex hex package. PM, right? Like there are several kind of implementation of Q, and it all depends on like space complexity and time complexity. And then there is a crate package here called Q. I think it is this, probably not this one. Anyway, like we will figure it that out. But yeah, the queue module is actually very simple. You just create a new queue, which will just create the queue. It will show how many elements are there in the queue and what's the latest element. So let's bind this queue, and then you can do queue dot insert. Let's say one. Uh, yeah, let's insert one. Oops. And let's insert two. Let's insert three, and then here it gets interesting. If you do q dot out, mhm, yeah. So currently our queue have three elements, 1, 2, and 3. And when and since it's like first in first out, one will be out initially, right? Now currently our queue's value is still 1, 2, and 3, right? And if we want to bind this to the new value, you again need to bind this with the q dot out, then bind the new value to the to with, then now q is like 2 and 3, and then you can do the same thing again. Here you can like just do value, and now your q is just one element. So yeah, this is just one handy module, q, which is available. In practical life, I have never used this because almost all the time we just rely on list in elixir or maps in elixir. But yeah, it's just one handy thing to know about. And yeah, that's it from my side. The only thing is that since everything is immutable in elixir, uh, we just cannot I mean this won't work. Like if I do q dot out, oops, q dot out q, uh, and then if I do q, the q will remain intact. We just need to bind this value to q again, uh, and the only reason for that is that everything is immutable in elixir. But yeah, that's all. Mm, and since we have time, let me find out that spec. I keep forgetting the name, but quickly find it out. Type check. Yeah. Also look at this library. This one is pretty cool, and this guy. This guy has like various implementation of queues and arrays. So like if someone is like curious, like academically curious, let me say that, then you can see different kind of implementation of queues. And yeah, here he has like all kind of functional programming and frontend kind of stuff. But yeah, if someone want to use that, they have this library like it, and there are like different kind of implementation here as well. Yeah, I'll just paste it in our chat. But yeah, for most of the cases, elixir lists are sufficient, and queue is just handy. And yeah, for if you really need some kind of optimization, or you just need to stick with the elixir code, this library is there in case we want to use that. Yeah, that's all from my side.
Okay, interesting. Anyone wants to show anything?
Not this week, but I have an announcement. I started working today. I found an Elixir position, but it's mostly mixture of coding and management. So it's better than nothing
Wow.
for now. So
Oh,
time is a little bit limited. I will be attending our calls, but probably won't be able to make any presentations this week. Maybe next week. I'll pick something over the weekend and definitely do one next week.
Is it Vidmaps?
What's that?
Is that company Vidmaps?
No, 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 no. This is a company called Frobots based in Japan.
Oh, okay,
oh,
nice.
nice.
Okay,
So,
so I'm curious, how did you find them? Like, how did you apply? Like, where did you find key they're open and everything?
Elixir Slack.
Elixir
I
Slack.
just re- yeah, Slack. I just reached out to the person. We talked, and then there was a couple of rounds of interviews, and then it went over.
Hmm. Interesting.
So is it web stuff or like nerves or something like that?
No, this is mostly Elixir, and then they have some view on the front end, a couple of different code bases in Golang, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that's pretty much it. They're
Right.
trying to rally around Elixir and then maybe switch to live view. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know yet if it will be completely live view or it will be API first and then all the web front end would be handled by Vue with Unity in the background for the gaming stuff.
Oh, nice.
nice.
So I'll keep you guys posted what I learned there. So it's a
Yeah,
small team
congrats.
distributed.
Yeah.
That calls for more presentation from Sriram.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'll pick something and do it because I have to like sit down and go over a lot of stuff. Lately, I find myself reviewing the basic concepts over and over, and I find that it's helping me grasp things a lot better now. So I will definitely pick something and I'll do a presentation next week.
Coming to last week's talk, I was doing a follow up and I came across this tweet today. Here, this guy has made something of Amnesia RocksDB and some new version something. I just want to show to our group Amnesia
Nice.
RocksDB, and this is the GitHub. I'm still curious how to use it, and I have messaged him. He has not. Oh, one message. Good. Yeah, this guy has replied back. Okay. He gave
Okay,
her.
so
Yeah,
basically we can do that. Yeah.
he replied back. Yeah, thanks. So I'll share the link. Yeah. When was
Perfect.
this? Oh, 25 March 2020. Nice.
Recently,
Cool.
100
So,
GB. Yes, I thought we'll take a look at that. Anything that will help us move forward, then it should be great.
yeah.
And I also
We-
been a little busy trying to close an older project in Flutter, so it's always a fun stuff when your code base is a year old and then all the new plugins don't work. So I have to upgrade all of them.
I'm just curious, like since like 9 people on this call, what is their elixir use case? Anyone on any stuff which is not web, basically not API and live view,
Like nerves or something like that.
nerves or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm curious to learn too. Anybody?
No, no, I don't have any.
And the other one is like anyone is using, let's say, GraphQL or something. I know Sandesh is, but
Yeah, I use GraphQL, but I'm still between should I continue, should I not continue? It is an additional layer which everybody do not want. Most of the people do not want GraphQL because unnecessary additional layer.
So, what is the benefit you're getting by choosing that?
by GraphQL.
Uh,
Mhm.
I mean, I hear the same thing that Sandesh has mentioned, but in like my last 6 years, I have never written a race call. Like it's always a GraphQL call. So
Okay.
maybe my opinion would be a biased one.
No,
But
but we would
basically,
like to hear that. Since you have actual experience, your opinion matters. I don't have experience, so whatever I say,
okay.
take it with a grain of salt.
So the biggest benefits are all well documented on Google. Basically, a smaller payload, and you get what you want or what you ask for, and all those things. Which is, if you search for GraphQL versus REST, you will find all those things. But
Yeah.
here is like some other practical things which is not mentioned there, which is like it is way more flexible than REST, right? Which is
Okay.
again like double-edged sword, but yeah, generally it is portrayed as it's more stricter version, which is true, but at the same time it is more flexible, especially when you use data loader and all those things. So
Okay.
that's one big benefit, and the other big benefit is obviously is that you get strongly typed API. How it is useful because before you so basically you get the documentation for free, right? For
Mhm.
every mutation, every API call that you make, you exactly know whether it should be a string or a number or like integer, or what kind of data type that we need to provide. So that's
Okay.
one.
So that means API validation is done automatically. Does that mean so?
API, let's say it's strongly type, so it will say you that whether that thing should be, let's say for example, if I pass age, age could be a number, or age could be not defined, basically null or number. So that kind of validation is there, right? But again, like if you, so basically you can't pass string, but if age has to be like, let's say 1 to 100, so that kind of validation still needs to be coded in the code side, like whether it's your acto schema or like your surface layer or whatever.
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so it's more
Nice.
something like in rest world what you use, open API spec or something. It's more like that, but inbuilt. So that's great. And the other great thing is because most of the times the guys I work with are front end developers, right? So those people really like GraphQL because every time I change something, they can just rerun there is something called code gen in front end world, basically React or Svelte or whichever library you use. So
Okay.
what code gen does, it will, since everything is like strongly typed, you exactly know like what to expect on your front end code, right? So let's say for example, currently let's say there is a field called amount, and amount could be any number. Now if I change it from number to string, these guys will just know, because whenever they rerun the code gen, things will start breaking for them. Breaking as in like,
Okay.
the code gen will start breaking. So they know that, something has been changed on the back end. Either it was not supposed to be, or they need to change it on their end. So something like that. And
So
that's big
so
benefit.
I mean, technically you don't need to call those people and tell. I mean, the communication is reduced, is it?
Can you repeat? Sorry.
Oh, I was saying that you don't need to, communicate with the front end team every time. Ki dekho, this has been done, that has been done. Some things
Correct.
can be inferred.
Correct. So basically, if I change, smaller things, I don't need to communicate with them, right? If something is like really, really important, then what we do is we keep that field and we will introduce something similar, the new version of that field, right? And we just ask them, use the old field as long as required, but start moving towards the new field. And once everyone is on the new field, we just drop the old field. Until then, just keep it. It's like, version 1, version 2. But yeah, basically the other benefit is that we don't need versioning, because we can just add or remove fields ad hoc. And yes, exactly, like, I don't need to communicate those things with our front end guys. So these are all the pros that I am telling about. And the other big thing which very few people know about is that you can actually map those GraphQL calls to REST API calls, right? And this is
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
what Facebook is
Arpit,
doing.
So there is this, like Arpit mentioned, I was about to mention this, that there is very, I mean, good project that I came across.
Hmm.
What those guys have done that is that they have written some GraphQL intermediary sort of thing,
Hmm.
and it generates open API specifications for you.
Yeah.
And like a step ahead, they also generate the code for you. Like with this GraphQL schema, what I mean to manage this schema, this is the broadest schema that is possible. They
Hmm.
give you the code in Python, Go, and sort of like that. So you generate your entire microservice.
Yeah.
All the request, all the response. It's strongly typed. So it's basically generating the microservice based on your schema. So that's something very powerful that I came across. I'll share the link
Yeah.
if I find it.
Arpit, you want to take this topic and do something a little bit more detail? I like what you said so far.
Oh, sure.
+1.
Okay.
Okay, about Wednesday's meetup, how are we would like to present?
Uh,
Uh, I was thinking that since we have something on monoids and all that stuff of Scala on Friday, we should probably take some time to brush some
Hmm.
things that we expect to encounter on Friday, so that it's not completely alien.
Yeah,
oh,
but
please,
who?
please.
Sorry,
No,
follow.
I mean, +1 on that, because there is this library called Witchcraft, and every time I open that, I have to search for these references. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can take either Elixir, but I think if somebody has an experience in a strongly typed language, that would be a bit better. Uh, because like options and everything, I don't know. I mean, we can do that in Witchcraft, but just saying,
Witchcrafters, okay.
it's a library in Elixir which helps you simulate Haskell-like behavior, which is a
I
sort of
I
technically
mean,
not correct definition, but
Abhishek, if you know about this stuff, probably it would be great if you can just provide a primer on algebraic data types and all those stuff, because this is like
uh,
too advanced.
mm, how familiar are we with typing? Like, how comfortable are we with TypeScript or like typing in general?
Let's say stage 0.
Everyone, everyone.
How about
Like,
say medium?
okay, Satish.
Yeah, medium. I'm not expert
Okay,
in that. Yeah.
so uh, so let's consider it this way. Like, let's call it three levels. First level is that you can understand, uh, you know, if types are mentioned. So, for example, an Elixir spec is mentioned, or If I say you can read types basically. The second level is you can do something with recursive types. So if I say that uh, there is this user data which has in turn a type of user data. So uh, can you make it an like tree sort of structure with types? That's the second level. And third is can you further extend it to make it generic types? So let me know like who's at which level. Sriram?
I'm at
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I got distracted for a second.
Okay, so just to brief it again, let's consider it like understanding type theory by three levels, 1, 2, 3.
Mhm.
One is very basic TypeScript stuff. This is a string, this is an int, this is a list, all that stuff. You can
Right.
simply read type and understand it.
Right.
Second level is where you can do something with recursive types.
Mhm.
And third level is where you can combine the recursive types and generic types, or at
Oh,
least you have an idea what generic types is.
okay. Okay. I think I would start learning from probably level 2,
Okay.
unless I'm simplifying it too much and giving myself too much credit and jumping ahead. But I think probably the level 1 stuff we can read up online, and level 2 and 3 would better serve with a proper example, so you can compare and contrast like why that is better and what type
Who
of problems
else?
you're avoiding.
So who else is on level 2? Go
I
ahead.
I also want to add a level 2.
Okay.
As Sriram said that
And
we can have
Arpan,
level 1.
Arpan also on level 2. Pindi Proli. Like, am I
Chaitanya.
pronouncing it correct? I don't know. Sorry for mispronunciation. Like, okay. All right. So I've done some work in recursive types and generic types both. So, but I don't know how I'll be able to show
I
you
think
because.
Abhishek and Chaitanya, if it is possible, if you both can collaborate and give a talk on Wednesday around these type specifications. And
Yeah.
There
I am
is.
aware with level 1 where I have to read. I know and write a basic types about the function definition just to create a simpler type. As you have done something more, if you both can collaborate, Chaitanya, how are you?
This coming Wednesday, you mean, Sandesh?
No, we cannot hear you clearly.
This coming Wednesday, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. This Wednesday it might not be possible for me because we have our sprint planning as part of the company. So the calls will run at least 9:30 to 10 o'clock. So at times it might jump a bit extra time.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
might
Understood.
not be able to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Abhishek, would you like to give a talk?
I would, but then it's sort of going to be an uphill for everyone else because I have some code in Elm, some code in TypeScript.
Hmm.
I mean, then either I would prefer a strongly typed system like Elm so that there is more concepts that I can introduce
Can
because
I make a suggestion for something like this? Since this is a little bit more involved and then there is some prerequisite knowledge, you could probably
uh
just share what the basics you definitely need to know. And then one presentation instead of just a short one, we will try to pick up like a longer presentation with breaks in between. That way you get to cover everything start to finish. And folks following along will also have the code set up on their side, so everybody can look at the code, try it out, and go. I don't know, just my thought.
Let's
So you're
yeah, I mean
not
actually
I'm
discuss
moving
I'm
the code
into a
setup and
yeah.
longer, like a workshop type of thing.
Yeah, I'll have to see about two things. One, I don't wish to write new code. Like for the just the primary reason being key, I've written it. I just want to
Mhm.
show how easy it is to get started with this.
Yeah, that'll work.
why is it so powerful? So that I can only show you. I mean, I don't want to start a new project in 2 days. Simple.
I'll do
Man,
that.
if you can
So
just write some
but then the downside
minimum
is
things
like,
and
but the downside is if I show you that project, you'll have to read a bit
Detail.
about Elm and opaque types, and I mean there would be like effort from your side.
Okay.
no, I'm
So
talking in context of Elixir.
Okay.
sorry,
I'm talking in context of Elixir.
I am not sure I'll be able to give you good enough examples of or use cases in 2 days.
Okay,
Uh,
fine. Anyone else good to take Wednesday's meetup? Hari?
Not this week, like I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we
I,
can skip this Wednesday.
Man, it happens that if you skip one meetup, the next meetups we are really don't know how it will happen.
Okay, or we can
That
just
has
talk on
been
Wednesday. No sharing, just talking.
Just bring your own topic and have like a ad hoc discussion.
cool. Okay, fine.
mm,
Cool then. If anyone has any short snippets, even they can show on Wednesday. Like Arpit shown us today about Q. There is also array. There are a lot of things that we can show from Elixir Patterns book. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think we can stop the today's meetup and see you on Wednesday.
All right. See you on Wednesday.
Bye.
Okay,
All right. Talk
Okay.
later. Goodbye,
Bye.
guys.
Bye, everyone.
thank you. Bye
Yeah.
everyone.